Kelsey.
And I'm Gina.
And I'm Candy. We wanted to talk to you today about infection control. We're going to do a couple of infection control demonstrations. Gina is going to perform some tasks and not follow infection control procedures. We'll talk about those as we go along. Then we're going to have Kelsey demonstrate the correct way to perform standard precautions or infection control measures. So we'll have Gina start off.
Hi, Miss Megan. How are you today?
Good.
Just want to take a peek here. Sorry, I've been kind of sick. Oh, you're wet. Let me get this off for you. Can you lift up? There we go. Just get rid of that. Okay. Let's just wash it off a little bit, okay? Oh, looks like you're still wearing last night's dinner on your face. Let me get that for you. Okay. Well, just put that down there for a minute, and I'll be back, okay?
So hopefully you noticed some of the mistakes that Gina made. To begin with, when she first came in the room, she coughed on her hands. So she spread whatever germs she may have on her hands to Megan when she coughed. Secondly, we don't know if she washed her hands before she came in, and then she also did not wear gloves. The purpose of wearing gloves is to not only protect the patient from infection, but also to protect yourself from any infection that the patient may have. Another mistake that Gina made was when she provided the Pericare for the patient Megan, she took the dirty brief and threw it on the floor. Whatever germs or bacteria were in the brief were then spread to the floor, and that's not the proper way to dispose of either dirty linen or dirty briefs. And last of all, you notice that Gina used a washcloth. She provided the Pericare for Megan, and then she proceeded to wash Megan's face with the same washcloth that she used to provide Pericare and without washing her hands. So not washing her hands, not wearing gloves, and then performing Pericare and washing Megan's face were the mistakes that she made, in addition to throwing the dirty linen on the floor. So we're going to have Kelsey now demonstrate the correct way to perform infection control measures.
Hi Megan, how are you today? Good. Good. Just to let you know, I washed my hands for 15 seconds. I'm just going to check to see if you're wet. Yep, I'm going to change that. Get a bag for this. I'll just get you cleaned up here. And it looks like you have some on your face, so let me change out my gloves, put on some hand sanitizer. Clean washcloth. There you go, all better. Thank you. All right, I'm gonna go get rid of this and I'll be right back. Okay,
So hopefully you noticed the difference in the care that Kelsey performed in comparison to Gina. When Kelsey first entered the room, she did say that she had washed her hands for 15 seconds. Whenever you're performing proper hand washing technique, you need to wash your hands for at least 15 seconds before providing care. She also wore gloves while she was providing the care, and she disposed of the dirty brief and also the dirty linen in a plastic bag. She did not throw anything on the floor. After she performed Pericare, before she washed Megan's face, she did change her gloves, and then she also used hand sanitizer between the glove changes, and that's the appropriate way to perform bathing using proper infection control techniques. We have one more scenario we want to show you again with Gina demonstrating improper infection control while she's preparing a meal for Megan.
Hi, Miss Megan.
Hi.
It's almost time for lunch. lunch. Are you hungry?
Yes, I am, thank you.
All right, would you like to sit up here on the left side of the bed a little bit?
Sure.
That's good. Are you comfortable?
Yes.
All right, hang on just a minute. Still not feeling good, but we'll get through this. All right, I'm gonna just have my lunch while you have yours, if that's okay.
Sure.
All right, can you hold that? Hold on. Okay, big bite.
We'll see.
All right, I'll be right back.
So the mistakes that Gina made during the meal preparation is, again, we don't know whether or not she washed her hands before she provided the meal for Megan. And if you notice, while she was preparing the food, she was coughing on her hands. Again, she did not wash her hands. And last of all, she was also drinking her own bottled water. Anytime that you eat or drink for yourself, you need to wash your hands before and after doing that. And that's not an appropriate thing to do while you're feeding a patient also. So Gina should have washed her hands prior to preparing that meal. And if she did feel the need to cough or sneeze while she was preparing the meal, she needed to step away from the food preparation and then wash her hands again before she fed Megan. So we'll have Kelsey show you the correct way to do that.
Hi Megan, how are you?
I'm good.
Are you hungry?
Yes, I am.
Okay, well I'm gonna get you something to eat, but I'm gonna wash my hands first for 15 seconds. All right, I'm back. Hope you sit up to the edge of the bed here.
Thank you.
There's your drink. I'm ready to take a couple bites. Oh, wait just a second, I gotta sneeze here.
Bless you.
Oh, thank you. Let me go wash my hands. I'll be right back.
So you can see the difference between the care that Gina provided and the care that Kelsey provided. Just want to reiterate that following proper infection control measures or standard precautions is everyone's job. Just to summarize, hand washing needs to be performed for at least 15 seconds. You want to perform hand washing anytime before you provide care, after you provide care, before you eat or drink yourself, anytime you cough or sneeze. You want to perform proper hand washing. You want to wear gloves at all times when you're going to come in contact with blood or body fluids. And you also need to make sure you wash your hands between changing gloves. To reiterate, dirty linen, dirty briefs need to be disposed of in a plastic bag, or if a bag's not available, at the end of the bed until you're able to place them in the proper location. You don't throw dirty linens or briefs on the floor. And then anytime you perform pericare, you want to think about cleaning the cleanest area first to the dirtiest area. So anytime that you would perform pericare, you can't perform pericare and then clean someone's face. You would definitely need to wash your hands and also change gloves between that care. And last of all, meal preparation. When you're preparing a meal for a patient, you should not be eating or drinking any of your own food during that time. You want to make sure you wash your hands before and after the meal preparation, and then you want to make sure too that you're not coughing or sneezing on a patient's food. So if you have any questions related to infection control, feel free to call the office. You can talk to Gina and I about that, or your case managers in the field can answer any questions that you may have about infection control. Thank you.